All right, so we can cool here with Mike from King Falcon. How you doing, man?
Good man, how are you?
Just adapting to this lovely quarantine here.
Yeah, I think everybody is.
So let's talk about the video for Shake, 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 man. Actually, what I want to talk about is the girls in there. How'd you pick them up?
Well, actually, it wasn't me. So we used a company called Rage, helped us with the video. They're friends of our manager. Really, really great team. Everybody on it was super, super awesome. They actually found the girls. Crazily enough, though, I had a class in college with one of the dancers and didn't know it until she showed up. I was like, "You look familiar."
Huh. So they're of age, right?
Yes. I think the youngest one is Jen. She's the one in the middle. I think she's 18.
I'm just busting your stones, man. So I love the music, man. I love that single. I can't wait to see what's coming up next from you guys.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We actually have James and I recorded an entire EP. We've got four more songs after this one, and we're just gonna kind of wait a little bit to put them out because we want to be able to make a video. But right now, James and I can't even be in the same room together, so the release dates for those are a little bit up in the air. But don't worry, we do have plenty more music.
Got to figure out some iPhone trickery, I guess.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll just make like a 5 minute long TikTok, and that'll be the music video.
Yeah.
That seems to be the trend these days.
Got to do something, man. I mean, where you located at?
I'm in Queens, so I'm just outside Manhattan.
So you got the memo today. We all got to wear masks. I'm Buffalo myself.
Oh yeah, so you're far out there. Actually, I did not see that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I haven't gone outside.
I mean, you guys, you're right there, man. You're right in the thick of it. So, I mean, when everyone sees New York getting hit, it's New York City and the surrounding boroughs there.
It's true. Got a lot of freaking people.
That's what I've talked about with people before. I mean, there's 9 million residents. There's usually about 12 to 20 million people there at a time. I don't know, 70,000 given homeless at any minute.
Yeah, and especially in the city, everybody lives in apartment buildings. So all you got to do is have one person get coronavirus and touch the front door, and everybody in the building has it now.
Yeah.
It's a little different when everybody lives in it.
Now, as far as being a musician, man, I go, what goes in your mind? You know what I mean? I go, California just announced half hour ago that no concerts are going to happen until there is a vaccine. They're saying that shit can't come out for a year.
Well, listen, I mean, our first show ever as King Falcon was supposed to be on April 1st. So that obviously got canceled. That didn't happen, which was a huge bummer. But we were like, okay, we're going to put together a tour for the summer. It's going to be great. Now it's looking like summers might not happen. I think what you're going to see in the industry is you're going to see a lot more stuff on digital content. So we've been posting like crazy on all of our social medias. And, I think although we may be giving up a good tour season this year and we may be losing the chance to see a lot of good acts, I think the turnaround, the other side of the coin is that a lot of people are going to have time to write a lot more music. And I think next year we're going to hear a lot more stuff on Spotify. We're going to see a lot more music videos. We're just going to see a lot more content come out that way. So if you try to trade live show for more music, I think that kind of makes it a little bit better.
You see, it's a funny how things switch. I mean, it's been forever now that touring is the only way to make money. People really don't care about putting out the music because they're not making anything off it. Now it's got to switch everything around because you don't have any other options.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, you're not making music, you're not making money from Spotify plays, we also, James and I also are in a band called the Inoculated Canaries, and we've got probably close to 500,000 listens on Spotify, and I think in total we've made about $900, which in New York is rent for like 2 weeks. So, that you don't make a living off of that. It's other stuff. It's licensing, it's merch, and obviously it's touring. That's the big thing. So, we're going to see, but again, musicians aren't the only ones struggling. Everybody's struggling right now. Nobody knows how they're going to pay their rent. Nobody knows how they're going to buy food. It's scary.
Now, one thing I've noticed, I mean, me, myself, I've had to change over my entire format, It's been more well-known bands that I've cover, so to speak. Now
Sure.
I've got to switch over to up-and-comers like yourself because any known band's not really giving a shit about doing an interview to say that they can't tour. Got nothing going out, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, that's obviously I think it's very fortunate for me because I'm glad to be on the show as an up and comer. But I think even as like somebody who's big and famous, you got to use platforms like this to talk about it because I think people don't really know what to do with themselves. We've all got mixed information from the president who kind of doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Um, we've got stuff coming from all different directions. Yeah, it's getting better. No, it's getting worse. There's no cases in China, allegedly. So I think if you're somebody with some sort of platform, I think you should be doing interviews and stuff like this because you just gotta hear somebody else's voice out there who I don't know, makes you feel a little bit better than our president.
Well, one thing that I'm going to see trending is once touring is available to start back up, it's going to be the up-and-comers like yourself that are going to be the first bands on the road.
How so?
Well, you got to think of it this way, man. I mean, you got to make a name for yourself. That was your dream the whole time through. This pandemic set you back. Any band that's out there that has money, that's able to wait for things to calm down, is definitely going to do so. And
Yeah, it's true. Again, there has been many different crises over the last 20 years. We had the dot-com bubble burst, and then the financial market crashed. 2008, everything kind of went to went south.
no,
And if you look at these things, it brings the whole world down, and it's all about how people handle the situation and come out of it that puts them on top. So I think for us, it's going to be just like putting our heads down, making a lot of content, and getting our ducks in a row so that as soon as this is gone and we can start touring again, we could be one of the first out there.
now,
Like you said.
have you prepared yourself mentally how touring is going to be? I mean, I can't see stadium shows, I can't see arena shows ever happening for quite some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen, my only concern with touring ever was that I would have to be in a confined space with James for a lot of time because I absolutely can't stand James. But other than that, I think anything that we do, we just kind of deal with it. It's we're on the onset of something very new. I think when you have bands of the 60s and 70s touring, the way that they toured was it was new. Nobody toured like that before. So now we're coming into a new age where everything's different, and we got to be some of the first to kind of figure out how to do this.
Now, when you go to a show, you go to see the headliner. There's always two or three openers. The up-and-coming bands spend their time after their sets at the merch booth, shaking hands, drinking beers with fans, taking pictures. Is that going to be a thing of the past? I mean, are people going to want to do meet and greets? Are you going to want to interact with the fans right now, not knowing if this can build back up?
Listen, that's not an easy question to answer because it's about more than just me. Because me personally, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm young. If I get the coronavirus, it'll be bad, sure, but I'll probably be fine. The biggest thing about all this is, let's say somebody comes to a King Falcon show, afterward I have a beer with them, shake their hand, whatever, and then they go home and they got coronavirus from me, and then they give it to their grandma, and then she dies. That's kind of the whole issue with this. So me personally, I'm not really worried for myself. I'm not super scared about getting it. I don't really mind interacting with people. It's just the implications of giving it to other people and then, having it affect their lives. So I think it's less of a me being concerned thing for myself and more of a bigger, it's bigger than that.
You see, I'm kind of different on that. I mean, now with this going on, I don't feel bad being an asshole going out in public not talking to anybody anymore. They just think that's the normal.
I'm from New York City. We're like
So, what are your plans, man? I mean, do you guys have something in mind to go forward from here? I understand you said you got some more songs coming out. You're doing a lot of social media shows and things like that. I mean, what mindset do you got to be in as a musician of like planning what's the future in an unknown time?
So right now, what our main game plan is to try to get Shake to be some sort of viral sensation that people like. So we've got it on. There's a couple of TikTok influencers who have used it. We're trying to get some placements for it. We're just trying to push that song as far as it can go, where the product that we produced is a song, not like our product is a tour. Our product is a show. So just from a business sense, just seeing how far we could just push something that we've already made and try to use that to funnel people to our social media. So it's, again, just like everybody else, it's going to be about growing our digital side as much as possible because James and I have plenty of songs, we've got plenty of assets that way, and we can't do anything about touring right now because that's out of our control. So again, it's just the social media. So it's plugged for us. We've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we've got Facebook, we've got everything. So it's anything that you use that you want to connect with us on that, go for it.
Now, you think during this period there's going to be a lot more social media platforms popping up? I mean, you know, there's a
social platforms like new ones, you mean?
yeah, like
on their socials.
no. I'm saying new platforms. You know, new ways of connecting with fans. I mean, there's so much shit out there I don't even know or care about.
I can't hear you.
What I'm saying is new platforms. You know, I mean, you know. I'm telling you, man. I swear I hate these fucking phone interviews.
Yeah, if I could be there in person, I would. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's cool. You know, it's just I just did one right before you, and some asshole was driving in his car during it. And like, listen, Mr. Important, take a couple minutes to let me pretend to give a shit that I'm talking to you.
No, but I think people don't have a choice. You know, our only thing that we have control over right now, content wise, is social media. So I think of course you're gonna see a huge focus on that. It makes sense.
You know, you were saying how you guys want to brand Shake, Shake, Shake and get that out there. Maybe you start some kind of, remember that fucking song that, I don't know what the song was called, Harlem Shake or some shit? Remember when they would play the song and everyone had to do these little videos where they danced and whatnot?
You want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
The guy who filmed Harlem Shake filmed the Shake, Shake, Shake music video.
Really?
Same guy. His name is Topher Maslanka.
Wow.
Yeah, same dude. So, yeah, hopefully.
You better tell him to spin some of that magic, man. You know, get that viral the same way.
The internet is a weird place, my friend. Some things just pick up and run, and some things don't. Who would have thought that the song Harlem Shake and then people just air humping, who would have thought that would become a sensation? Yeah. How can you predict that, you know?
I was quietly shocked when that shit was everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tell me about your live shows, how you guys are doing those two. I mean, what is it? Were you guys using Zoom or some shit to get together? How's that working out?
So, actually, we haven't done any live social distance shows, I guess I'll put it that way. And the reason is, when you use something like Zoom, right, the sound doesn't come across at the same exact moment. So, if I play something, James will hear it like half a second later. So it's hard for the two of us to play at exactly the same speed and sound tight when you have delay like that. So we've been trying to investigate different platforms and different ways of doing this to make that work. And frankly, we haven't figured it out yet, which is why we've been focused a lot on our social medias, because we feel very helpless not being able to gig.
So when you guys are interacting with fans, I mean, you guys, what do you pump up? Are you guys, saying the music? You're talking about pandemic, being stuck in the house, how to deal with quarantine?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of everything. We're super excited about Shake, Shake, Shake because that's our first song that we've put out. It's the first song we've written as King Falcon. It's like it's our baby that we've had for a couple of months now. So there's that, and then it's sort of like putting that out in light of everything that's going on in the world, and just I don't know. I think it's just a lot of unknowns, but we're not the only ones.
So let's talk more about you being in Queens, man. Like, what's that like? You know, you knowing that fucking everyone there is possibly sick all around you.
Yeah, I don't go outside a lot, and when I do, it's just to drive from point A to point A. That's how I get my vitamin D. You know, you go with the windows down on the highway, and I'll tell you, it's the only time in the last maybe 60 to 80 years that you could drive down the Cross Bronx Expressway at 5 p.m. and there's no traffic. Only time. It'll never, ever, ever happen. That is a godforsaken highway, and it's a parking lot, but not during quarantine. So it's kind of nice, you know. You go for a drive at golden hour where there's usually traffic. Listen to some Steely Dan. Just pretending that everything is normal for a minute.
Now, when you do your basic everyday stuff, like having a grocery shop, do you go like farther away than normal, or what do you know what I mean?
No, I've been using like grocery delivery apps and stuff mostly. I think I've gone to the store maybe once or twice in full gear, you know, mask, gloves.
Yeah, I'm the same, man. I mean, I plan out if I got to leave, like what do I got to do, you know? I sit in the car for 10 minutes, I double mask it, I put my gloves on, my hat, I get ready to rob that bitch, and I go in, fortunately, just to go buy milk.
Yeah, and I found myself the other day, so I didn't bring gloves and a mask with me, because I didn't plan on going anywhere, I was just going to go out for a drive, but I looked down and I was almost out of gas, so I was like, okay, so I stopped at the gas station, and I got out, and I didn't even think about it, and I'm tapping the buttons on the screen, and then I went and I grabbed the gas thing, and I put it in my car, and right as I'm sitting there filling it up, I'm like, oh my god, I touched like 5 things. And then I get back in my car and I'm like, oh my god, I'm touching the steering wheel. I gotta touch the gear shifter. It's everywhere. And then I got home and I like a crazy person washed my hands and I washed the whole inside of my car with Lysol. And I've never been a germaphobe like that. I've never, you know, I'm not one to go around licking doorknobs or anything, but I'm not scared of getting sick. It was just such a unique experience for me because I was terrified.
I would have pulled the nozzle out and poured the fucking gasoline all over my hands, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. What else? Well, if you just pour some gas, set it on fire for a minute, it burns the coronavirus right off.
You know, it's crazy. You know, you mentioning things like that. The other day, I had to go to the mailbox and I put one glove on, thinking, you know, I'm only gonna touch the mailbox itself. I'm gonna pull it in. I'm gonna throw my mail in, and I wasn't thinking. I fucking used the hand without the glove. I wanted to cut my hand right off. I was like, oh my god.
That's funny. That's so funny. Yeah, it's crazy little things you don't think about. And another thing, you know, you don't realize how much you use your other hand until you only have one glove on.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
You're like, wow, I use 2 hands for everything.
Shut up, goof. I got my, speaking of things being different, you know, I'm homeschooling, you know, my kid's here, it's different. He's here full time. He's chiming in here, telling me little questions to throw in for you.
I'm sorry, who's chiming in questions?
My son, I was saying.
Oh, hey.
It's different how, now, you know, my son just turned 9, he's supposed to be in school, I'm the teacher now. You know what I mean?
When was his birthday?
April 5th.
Oh man, that's happy birthday. That sucks. Tell him I said I'm sorry.
It's alright.
Hey buddy, what's going on? How was your birthday?
It was great. It was better than I thought it would be.
Did you get anything good?
Yes. I got a Yoda, I got a lightsaber. It was pretty good. I got pretty good gifts.
What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
I'm definitely gonna have to do it with Return of the Jedi.
Is that number 4?
No, that's the last of the original. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, the numbering is always weird because you never know which one's won. Is it the first one that came out? Is it the first one chronologically? You never know. But I like Star Wars.
Yeah, it's a good franchise. Bro, if my dad, if he was the director, he would be like, let's make 58 more.
Yeah, I'm sure they would be great.
Yeah. All right.
Well, it's been good talking to you.
It's been good talking to you too.
Little difference in how business is usually done, but I'm adapting.
Yeah, sure. He's a smart kid. You know, a lot of 9-year-olds can't put sentences together. He's very articulate.
Thank you. He's a cool little guy. You know, going forward here, what are your plans as far as, let's say, June pops off and they say that you're allowed to start doing shows? Are you jumping right into them?
You know, James and I are ready tomorrow morning to drop every single thing in our lives and go on the road for 6 months. So we're just itching to get started, and me and him we've got no qualms about anything as long as we're not, you know, as long as it's safe for other people and as long as nobody's life is going to be in jeopardy. We're ready to start playing tomorrow morning. So as soon as we get the word that we can all go back outside again, James and I are out there.
See, that's what I was getting at before. I mean, it's going to be you up-and-comers that are going to be right there, voiding that gap that we all desperately need filled.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's cool to say that we're super brave for being the first out and all that jazz, but at the end of the day, I think the only people who are really brave are, you know, medical workers, nurses, doctors, bus drivers, just like essential workers who don't have the ability to just not see people for a couple of weeks, because if they do, society will collapse. So, you may have seen that there was a story on the news about a bus driver who somebody came on the bus and coughed, and then he posted the video about how that was kind of messed up, and then 4 days later, he died. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Like, people like that, you know, if they can do their job, man, we could go out and play some freaking rock and roll. Like, we're not that special.
Did you see the video of the guy who was wearing a mask on the bus? I think it was Philadelphia.
No, that one I didn't see.
They beat the piss out of him.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I guess they were masks are mandatory, so they literally yanked him off the bus. It took like 2 officers. Dude definitely got his ass beat.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts like this for a while, and I think, you know, just using deductive reasoning, I think the way that this is going to go is the government's going to say, okay, we're reopening, I don't know, June 5th, whatever. June 5th, one of 2 things are going to happen, maybe a mixture of both. Either you're still going to have people be really, really scared to go outside, and they're not gonna, or a lot of people are going to go outside to, let's say, get the vaccine, right? So let's say the vaccine comes out June 5th. Everybody's going to go rush to get the vaccine, waiting in line at Walgreens, a bunch of people are going to get infected, and then just like we ran out of testing kits, they're going to run out of the vaccine materials. So you're going to have a whole other host of issues that come with trying to get people accessible to this vaccine. So this is really, even though this is right now supposed to be the apex in New York, I really think we're not at the end of this.
Now, being a performer, are you prepared to see how crowds are going to be? I mean, do you think venues are definitely not going to open up to full capacity right off the bat? Do you think they're going to have sections where you can space yourself out, maybe let the front be a free-for-all? You know, if you're willing to go and be in contact with people, go ahead and have areas where you're allowed to social distance?
You know, I'm not sure. I mean, I as far as our show goes, I'm not sure it's going to change anything. I mean, James and I have been playing shows for 10 years, so we've obviously had our fair share of shows where there's been 5-6 people there, and it hasn't affected us. Obviously, you want a full show because you kind of feed off the energy of the crowd. But again, it's just a matter of responsibility. You know, if we have to change our entire industry to make sure that nobody else dies, we gotta.
You know, it's going to be different when things start getting back on track. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't think people are going to want to go back to. I mean, they're showing first-run movies at home on demand now. You know, I mean, you're going to tell me you're going to stop that once the virus goes back out?
No, absolutely not. This is fully a extremely pivotal moment in human history, I think, because nobody has seen anything like this. Obviously, we saw the Spanish flu in 1918, and that was similar, but the difference was we didn't quite have all of these channels to stay connected with each other, and once these new channels have been opened, I'm not quite sure they're going to close at the end of it. So it's just going to kind of change the way that businesses operate. You know, I think we're going to see a lot less people flying back and forth for meetings because they realize that they can do it on Zoom now. Like, my dad used to travel a lot for work. I'm not sure he'll be doing that quite as much anymore. You know, just stuff like that. We're gonna see things change. Who knows? This might be a huge permanent blow to the airline industry just because of how much business travel might not happen after this.
Now, do you think it's fair that you can call that the Spanish flu, but people can't call this the Chinese virus?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure. I think the fact that it's been the Spanish flu for 102 years now, I think that name has solidified. But coronavirus? No. It's a good question. Listen, I spent the last 4 years of my life in college. That's a real college question that they would ask, and you could write a paper on.
Well, you do know why they call it the Spanish flu, right?
I don't.
The reason it's called the Spanish flu is because when it was going around, all the media and all the other countries weren't allowing you to talk about it, and Spain was the only country that allowed you to announce the deaths and things that were going out. So you'd only hear that Spain was affected, so that's why it became the Spanish flu.
Huh. So it's the opposite of Chinese virus, because China says that nobody's infected.
I mean, what the fuck, man? You got kids over there eating bats for snacks. What do you think's going to happen?
Oh, man. Yeah. I would love to find out who the guy who ate the bat was. You know, I'm sure I'm not the only one.
I just seen a thing on the news where they're eating centipedes over there, and there's some kind of virus that's going out from the centipedes that they're eating, man. I don't understand doing any of that gross shit.
You know, I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian, but this is the kind of thing that would make me think that that's a good idea, because you can't go wrong by eating a leaf.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you really can't go wrong eating a cow or a pig either, man. A fucking bat and a centipede.
Well,
but you know
true,
what I mean?
but that's because, you know, at least I can't talk about other countries, but at least in the United States, there's a huge amount of regulation that goes into meat. You know. Whereas in China, there's not quite as much regulation around meat. You know, they have there's the Yulin Dog Festival that happens every year where people just eat dogs. So obviously the meat regulation is very different. So if I was in China and if I was in any country that didn't regulate meat quite the same way, you know, I might really consider being a vegetarian. And again, this is me as somebody who's never been to China, who knows nothing about the culture there. Completely ignorant opinion, but just from afar, maybe being a vegetarian is not a bad idea.
Yeah, but you've been to Chinatown, right?
That's different. But yeah, I have been to Chinatown.
Take a fucking stroll around there, man. You know, when you're looking around, they're selling fucking frogs and turtles and shit. They're eating some gross shit here that they're allowed to.
Listen, I'm sure that the first guy to eat the chicken, when somebody saw him eat a chicken, was like, you know, man, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but
I just think that at least me personally, I've been so satisfied with beef and chicken that I don't quite feel the need to experiment with like weird shit.
You know what the crazy part is? Even though they have adapted to here of, okay, you can only have certain things, they're going all out. They're still eating the asshole of the cow and things like that. If you look in some of their markets.
Oh man, yeah. Listen, it's crazy. You know, there's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff, and a lot of that stuff is not stuff I know about. And eating cow asshole is one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let me just toss Betsy's salad real quick.
So people want to follow up, man. They want to see what you guys are up to. They want to start some kind of viral challenge for your shake, shake, shake video. Where do they go? What do they do?
So if you look up hashtag Shake Challenge, that's us. Again, all of our social medias. Any social media that you use, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, we're on there. Come find us. And we make content pretty much every day, maybe every other day. Take weekends off, you know. But yeah, just anywhere that you go to get your social media, we're there. Go look us up, you'll find us.
You guys on Snapchat?
Maybe not that one. Just 'cause like I don't know how I'd feel about I don't know how my girlfriend would feel about people sliding into my Snapchat DMs, you know.
What about Aardvark? You guys big on Aardvark?
Aardvark. Oh man, and here I go saying we're on every single social media channel, and you mentioned one I've never heard of.
Because I just made it up. So.
Well, you know what? Right after we get off this call, I'm gonna go make an Aardvark account. Make sure you follow at King Falcon Band on Aardvark.
Perfect. We're trend setting right here, man.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to hearing some more tracks coming out of you. Do you have any idea when I'm going to hear some new music or what?
We'll see. I'll say definitely by midsummer.
All right, man. Fingers crossed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
Thank you guys so much for having me on the show. I've really, really appreciated it, and you guys have been awesome.
You too, man. Appreciate talking to you. Take care.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.